1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, I'm Senator Jake Anderegg, and welcome to week 2 of the 2019 General Legislative Session. All right, a lot has happened in the last week, so I want to bring you up to speed on some very important items. Number one is the status of Prop 3. The Senate passed out at the end of last week Senate Bill 96, which was the Senate's version of trying to bring together our constitutional obligation of balancing our budget and fixing some of the unworkable aspects of Prop 3. We passed that out, we sent it over to the House. Well, now since then, this week what's happened is the House has gone through and actually revised it. They've taken some good aspects of Ray Ward's House Bill 210, as well as some aspects that Representative Jim Dunnigan was insisting were in the bill, as he is the House sponsor of Senate Bill 96. As of today, the House has passed Senate Bill 96, but they've removed some of the financial provisions that were safeguarding our budget. So now the bill comes back to us on what is known as concurrence. And if we concur with them, we adopt their amendments and the bill is. If we refuse to concur, then we send it back to the House and let us have a conference committee where they come in and try to work out and negotiate. If that fails, then we are left with Prop 3. So I think over the weekend you're going to see a lot of negotiations happen on the Prop 3 initiative and Senate Bill 96. Second thing is just a quick update on the surplus. Everybody's familiar that the news is reporting that we had a $1.3 billion surplus. Numbers are in, and the reality is that we did have a surplus of that size. We're already making up about $700 million a deficit that we have from a shrinking general fund in order to keep and maintain the existing spending limits. So we actually only had just under $600 million, but almost $400 million of that is taken up as dedicated towards education, which is leaving us about $150 to $200 million of actual surplus. But today, in our executive appropriations meetings, we were told that we have actually $1.3 billion of requests for our $200 million surplus. As you can imagine, not everybody's going to get what they want. So we're working on that. I'll keep you informed as we continue to move through the appropriations process. The third item that I think is actually a pretty cool item, Senate Bill 44. This is alterations to the street legal ATVs. Right now, statute has the street legal ATVs that can't go more than 25 miles per hour, but we had about 10 different instances across the state where the speed limit, as someone was traveling down it, would jump up to 30 miles or even 35 miles an hour in certain areas, and they became speed traps for people who were driving street legal ATVs. So we actually passed through committee. It's on the Senate floor. We passed out Senate Bill 44, which is going to increase that to 35 miles per hour. There isn't a lot of opposition from law enforcement, or at least there wasn't through the committee process. So the fourth item I'd like to talk about is I was the Senate sponsor of House Bill 20. This is a human trafficking amendments bill, which added to the law that when people take advantage for human trafficking purposes of persons with special needs and diminished mental capacity, that is now a first-degree felony. I am a little surprised it wasn't before, but it is now. So that passed both the House and the Senate. We passed that out yesterday, and I was the House sponsor of that, or the Senate sponsor for the House bill, and I was pretty pleased about that. So the last item that I want to talk about is Senate Bill 34. This is my affordable housing amendments. I'm just going to say right off the top, the Deseret News article was very misleading. This has very little to do with density and has so much more to do with effective planning and tying effective planning with the Capital Development Infrastructure Fund, or the TIF, Transportation Infrastructure Fund. Honestly, most of the cities that are in my Senate district are already in compliance with these new requirements, so it's going to affect our area? Probably not at all, because we're already doing a pretty good job. So if all of those out there that thought this was an issue of density and that I was promoting density and high density issues, that's not what this bill does. Density is certainly a factor that needs to be considered in planning, but that's not what this bill is all about. So I encourage you to read the bill. This bill will be heard on Monday, and hopefully we'll have it passed off the Senate floor on Monday, and then we'll head over to the House. So thank you to all of you who came to my town hall meeting on Wednesday night. We had pretty close to, I think, 45, maybe 50 people there when all was said and done. It got lively at times. We discussed abortion. We discussed Medicaid expansion. We discussed proper role of government. We discussed taxes and tax reform. So it was pretty good. We did try to stream it live, but for some reason we had some issues with that. My next town hall meeting, which I'm hoping to do in about 2 weeks, we will stream that live unless we have more technical issues, but hopefully we'll have that overcome. Anyhow, I appreciate you tuning in. I try to do these videos weekly, and at the end of the day, if you want to reach out to me directly, you can call me 801-901-3580. Shoot me an email at jandereg@le.utah.gov. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatnot. And as always, I look forward to your engagement. And this is Senator Jake Anderegg coming to you from the Utah State Capitol Complex saying catch you next time.